Hello again. Just this morning I got delivered my Farmertec G660. Oh, it's a beast. It was just the power head. First of all, I'm drinking Hook Norton 12 Days, which is a porter, which is a dark beer. It's 5.5%. It is one of the most exceptional beers that you could possibly try. Oh man, that has got so much flavour in it. The British, they really do know how to make beer, ale. Depending on who you are, where you are, whatever, there is a distinction between beer and ale, but I'm not going to go into that. So, Hook Norton 12 Days, number one. Now, the Farmertec Holtzformer G660. They're very nice people. It came packaged very well, even though this unit on the case, they've actually dropped it on the corner, on this corner here. You can see where they dropped it. Yeah, it looks like they dropped it. Now the G660 itself, what do I think of it? Straight out of the box, it appears to be a lot better than the Farmertec. Much better quality. Everything just seems to be better on it. The chain tensioning mechanism, which is the still chain tensioning mechanism, it's a lot more complex. A lot more complex and a lot harder to get to. I actually think that the Farmertec has got a better system. Believe it or not, it's smooth. It's a bit smooth. It's smoother. It's a smoother system, and it's a lot simpler. I actually think it's a better system. It may not be the sturdiest, may not be as sturdy as this, but yeah, it is a better system. But this, generally speaking, is a much better value saw. It is, and this is a 42-inch bar for the mill, for the Chinese knockoff Granberg mill, Alaskan mill. So this is brand new and it is still quite tight. I have lubed it up. I've got the tension pretty much right. Just flick this back, might be a little bit tight, but yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, because it is going to loosen up. So it definitely goes. Now, it does come with two good dogs. They do come with good dogs, but they're not going on because it's going on the mill. So with the actual power head, you get a hat, you get a pen, very nice pen, writes very nicely. So good on Farmertec. You get a hat, pen, you get a usual mixing bottle, you get a scranch, you get the Torx key because all the screws are Torx, and you get the carburetor setting screwdriver, adjustment screwdriver. It does come with a QC certificate, apparently passed QC. It has been. I know that they did start it because I could smell petrol when I got it out. It smelled of petrol. The Holtzformer instructions, what do they call this? Yeah, just their book. It almost is a book that comes with it. Is quite comprehensive. It's got a lot of chainsaw cutting tips about how to actually cut and use the saw. So yeah, it's all good. This unit cost me $900 delivered to my door. Now, get out of my chair. Now, along with that saw, came this box, and this is a box with a Farmertec, Farmertec G660, all in pieces, and that cost me $400 delivered. So there's a $500 difference, $455 difference. Now, some people may say, "Well, you should have got it, you know, in pieces in the first." Well, I don't know that much about these saws. It's nice to have one complete, so I can refer to it when I put the other one together. I know there's a lot of videos, and I've been watching them. That's the reason why I've got it. But it's still nice to have one complete, ready to go, so I can chuck it in the mill, and away you go. Yeah, it's got a completely different exhaust setup to the Farmertec, because the Farmertec is the Husky type, and this is the Stihl. This is the copy of the Stihl. The Farmertec is a copy of the Husky 372, and this is a copy of the Stihl MS660, which is a 92cc. Which apparently that's what it is, from all reports, as compared to the Farmertec SX82. I've not yet seen anyone say that the SX82 is 82cc. Everyone says it's less. In fact, one guy I think calculated it to being 53cc. So he measured the stroke and the bore, and his calculation reckoned it was 53ccs, which is a lot less than 82. It is what it is. Doesn't matter. I've got a bigger piston and cylinder coming for that anyway, to bump it up to, you know, specs. So I do also, I think I've got a big bore kit coming for this as well, I think. Yeah, so one really nice thing was that it's a wraparound handle. You do get a wraparound handle, which is the full wrap, which is the Western style, West Coast wraparound handle, which is nice. And it fits. The holes line up. So it was a bit of a muck around getting it on, but it fits. That's good. Yeah, I haven't started it yet, so I can't tell you anything, but it certainly seems like a pretty good unit. Now, something that I got yesterday was this thing. Something that I got yesterday was this thing. This is what the saw is going on. Okay, so that is the Chinese knockoff of the Granberg's chainsaw mill. Very, very, very close copy, I reckon. It's, from the pictures that I've seen, it is a very, very close copy. As you can see, it's not that heavy. Obviously, with the saw in it, it's going to be a fair bit heavier, but I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be heavier, so it's pretty good. One thing you've got to watch out for with that mill, because I got a Chinese knockoff. One thing you've got to watch out for is that there's sharp edges. There's a lot of sharp edges. I don't know how far they got, but anyway, I was saying that the saw is going onto this, the mill. The cheap Chinese knockoff, $170, delivered to my door. Copy of the Granberg's mill, very, very close copy. What I was saying was that with the fasteners, get some M8 nylock nuts, and you're going to, my other bit of advice is get a heap of spring washers, M8 spring washers, because there's no spring washers supplied. I had probably, I don't know, 5 times as many flat washers supplied. Maybe someone screwed up, and instead of putting, maybe they ran out of spring washers and they said, nah, bugger it, we'll chuck a shitload of flat washers in there, because like I've got a lot of flat washers, like about 30 extra flat washers. One thing that was disappointing with that mill is that the box, it looked like someone had just stamped on it, like literally. That's what it looked like someone had just got their boot and just stood on it. I don't know what happened, because this This is a Perspex. What they call it, a splash guard. Interesting interpretation, but that sort of goes over the middle of the mill to probably stop sawdust from going into your face. It's not a splash guard. I don't know any wood saw that splashes. So you see the instructions for the mill are just rubbish. But the mill itself, it looks the business. So if you are thinking about getting a Chinese saw, my advice is get the Holtzformer. Just go straight to the Farmertec website and pick your saw, because they do also have the Husky 372 rip-offs. Personally, I reckon just stick to the 660. I've been hearing a few. Just last night, I was watching a video where the wrist pin bearing for the piston on the Farmertec, on one guy's Farmertec, just collapsed, fell apart, and just trashed the cylinder and the piston. That's on Gabman's workshop, and go on his channel and have a look. He said he'd noticed that originally most of the parts were pretty good, and over the years they seem to have gotten cheaper. Would have liked to seen that video before I bought it, but too late now. So I just hope this thing doesn't leak oil out of the cap like that Farmertec does. Now, one thing I will say, if you get this 42-inch bar, the Hurricane Pro, if you get the 42-inch bar, this is a 135 link chain. It's a full house, 135 link chain. Now my advice is try and get a 136 link chain, because 135 I just managed to get that on. It was a bit of a struggle. So what that tells me is that this chain is just a little bit too short. One more link and it would really make it a lot easier to get it on. Okay, so just be aware of that. 135 links for this 42-inch Hurricane Pro bar. 135 is just one too few. You need one more link, really, you do. So that's about it for saws. One other thing I'd like to say, because I was in this city, call it city, and I popped in the camera house. Fantastic bunch of people in there in Townsville at the domain, and I got one of these and I got that one instead of that linked sort of leg one, because this one's half the price, and the flexibility. I mean, look at that. You can do whatever you want with it. It's got the 1/4-inch screw for a normal camera, and my Yi light. That's the nice thing about the Yis. The Yi light is that it's got the 1/4-inch fitting. Not like GoPro. They make their own shit, so you got to buy. Even though Chinese copied everything, and you can get it for a fraction of the price instead of GoPro parts. But whatever else have I got to report? That's about it. I didn't. Last night I did do some videos trying to put that saw together, but it was getting too dark and too late, and I'm not going to bother with it. So I put it together this morning. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, the instructions are a bit crap. The advice that I give to you if you're putting one of those chainsaw mills together is, I'll lift it up here and I'll show it to you, is bits of broken perspex going everywhere. One thing, if you are putting this thing together, the instructions tell you to put that in first. My advice is don't, because there's actually a gap This thing doesn't fit perfectly. These here have got stops, right, at each end, and that determines how far apart these rails go, those stops. Now what had happened was I put that in first, and because this piece is short, one of the rails was actually sitting on top of the stop that hadn't clicked in, so I had to undo that, loosen it, pull it out. But what's actually happened is that they've cut it short and not even square. So yeah, so don't put that in first. Put these in first, then put that in. That's my advice. It's about really the only difficult. The other thing is that no, you can't see it there. That the actual clamps on the bar, this one here, they don't meet, and the reason why they don't meet is because, spin it around, is because this guard, this tip guard, where they're formed round thingos for the screws to go through, they need to be narrower. They're just a little bit too wide, and so they don't meet, and so they're not going to clamp the guard at this end. I'm going to have to cut or grind some of that off so that the two clamps actually meet. Because they really, in my opinion, they need to meet. They meet at one end, but not that end. So that's the mill. That's my advice on the mill. That's about it, really. So as soon as I've got something to mill, I will mill it. In the meantime, I'm probably going to have a whale of a time putting that other saw together. I'll have a go at putting it together. Yeah. Yeah, so for people who, you know, don't realise it, if you are going to put your saw into a mill, take the dogs off. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's about it really. So until I've got an update on this thing, I will see you later.